1, the first session on the Showcase Theatre space. I know the rains have been a bit of a bother for everyone coming into Amsterdam, so thank you for making it, joining us today. We'll be starting on time, and thankfully we're able to start on time because, as you can see, half of this panel does not require any time on hair and makeup. So that's a bit of a way to get started. So topic that we'll be talking about today is fast and local beats big and global. And the reason we want to talk about this is when you talk about the streaming wars or the wars in media and entertainment, a lot of commentators out there, they've already declared the results. They've announced the winners, crowned the winners, but kind of represents a very myopic view that whatever is true for the United States is going to be true for the rest of the world. And the reality is, it is not that. The actual streaming wars are being fought across multiple battlefields, spread across the world. And in a lot of places, they are being won by cooperation instead of competition. And that's what we have the panel talking about today. I'm pleased to have with us today Ausra Sidaraviciene. How did I do, Ausra?
Almost correct.
Ausra.
Sidaraviciene, but I don't expect you to pronounce it correctly. It's okay.
Thank you. So we have Ausra. Ausra is the Chief Technology Officer at the TV3 Group. We have Anshul Kapoor, who's the Head of Media Solutions at Google Cloud. And we have the founder and CEO from Evergent Technologies, Vijay Sajja. So let's dive right into our conversation. My first question for all of you is, from your unique position in the industry as a technologist, as a service provider, as an infrastructure provider, what is the single most important rule in this new streaming playbook that you're seeing as it is evolving, right? That is helping regional players. And Ausra, I would like you to get us started. Maybe talk a little bit about how you're turning competition into cooperation. Would love to hear your thoughts.
So first of all, hello, everybody. It's nice to be here. And yes, it's a very interesting perspective of the topic, how global beats or works or competes with the local. And I think one of very important approaches what we took at Go3, that we never looked to global players as to the direct competitors. And we never tried to compete with them, and we never tried to beat them. Because if you start working in this approach, I think from the beginning you are failed. It's really impossible to compete with Netflix or with anyone who is global, who is big. So we always had the approach that we look to them as someone with whom we want to work with someone who can enrich any customer's content selection. And we always look so how we can help our users to have everything in their home from all of those providers. So taking this road, now we have a partnership with Netflix, with HBO Max, with other big providers, where we really see that users takes it and loves the offering the way Go3 comes to their homes.
All right. Thank you, Ausra. Anshul, what do you think is the single biggest thing that's changing in the playbook?
I think just building on what you were also mentioning, I think it's not all about outspending the global players, but you can outsmart them, you can outspeed them. So you sit in a local market, you understand the local market, local taste. With better data-driven decisions, you can be more agile, make quicker decisions that meet the requirements of your consumers. And I think that over a period of time, we are seeing is a lot more critical than having the global scale and the financial ability to invest on a global scale.
All right. And Vijay, I think what I'd like to get your perspective on is, how important does the technology become to support all of this, to support this new streaming playbook, compared to kind of, the content itself, right? The role of technology, especially on the billing side of things, because that's where Evergent does a lot of work. Right. So would love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I think, as Ausra said, right, the approach, she really knows her consumer. She really knows the people in her country and, what their preferences, what their likes and dislikes. That gives that business unique advantage, right? So And then it's really about speed, right? Speed at which you can experiment, speed at which you can launch new things, right? And so once you have an idea, can you execute that at speed? Let's say you want to launch a bundle with HBO or bundle with Amazon or Netflix, or so the speed is number one. Number two is personalization, right? So can you personalize the offer to the consumer? It basically has four elements for personalization. What's the product? What's the promotion you're going to offer on the product? What's the price, right? And what's the payment method, right? All those four elements, if the provider thinks through those, they can actually bring unique advantages because of the local knowledge, local payment method, local currencies sometimes, right? So it's those are the two elements, and the technology plays a big role in both of these areas. So do you have a platform that allows you to come up with new product, new services, promotions, launch them quickly? To Anshul's point, really based on market feedback and data, can you change quickly, right? So and so both speed is number one. Number two, really personalization to the end user. Yeah.
Got it. Thanks a lot for that. Ausra, coming back to you from your perspective as a head of technology, as the CTO, what does fast mean to you, right? When we talk about being fast, that's there in the title as well. What does it mean to you? Is it about being able to launch a new partnership faster, being able to take a new offer to market faster? What does fast mean to you?
Yeah, that's a very good question. And when you think about fast, one thing is, of course, like we need to launch a new product to the market, but it actually starts even a few steps before it. The whole thinking you have in the organization has to be fast, because the first thing, you need to notice something. You need to see either change in your consumers' behavior, either change in the market, change in the industry. You need really quickly capture that, then check if that really applies to you, to your business, to your consumers, and then change your roadmap. And changing the roadmap, it doesn't mean that, all right, so now we, in the middle of the year, we notice something has changed, so let's adjust Q4. Actually, fast means that you not even have to adjust Q4. You, in most cases, you need to launch in the end of Q3. So all this chain from capturing any new opportunity till it is delivered and introduced to your customers, it's fast. How you make a decision based on data, how you interact with the users, how you check if your decision was right. Maybe you need to roll back, maybe you need to adjust. It's like the whole way of how you work and how you run business.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very apt summary. I mean, that's how you should be running businesses in the first place. Anshul, from Google Cloud's perspective, right, what are some of the most important capabilities that Google Cloud is enabling, maybe about the scalable CDN type of thing that you do for YouTube, the AI-driven personalization? What is the single biggest advantage that Google Cloud provides to regional players to kind of really help them punch above their weight?
Yeah, I think we're trying to get them as more like a 1-2 punch. Like one, you need the infrastructure, so you need at the end of it, TV services across the world. They need to meet user requirements. It scale up and down with the user taste. If everyone is watching the same movie on a Saturday evening or the same football show, it should adapt for that. So that is a critical part of it. That's a given. It's expected by consumers, and for right reasons also. And I think, and that foundation you build on top of it, right? So it's not just from an infrastructure, from a core television infrastructure, but also a data platform. Based on that, you can actually build on top and use AI and some of the new innovative things that are coming out, right from adapting the content, changing the content based on user taste. So if a user wants to watch a Korean movie with Thai subtitles, you should very quickly be able to adapt to that in certain cases. And then, of course, once you know the user, you have the data, you can quickly adapt to their taste and build services and offers and promotions, and the content recommendations based on top of that. So These are two things I would say. Having the core foundational infrastructure is important. And then on top of that, the new innovation, the AI-based innovations that are coming up, how you can outsmart your competitors.
Right. Uh, I'll let Ausra build on this. Ausra, my question for you is, you're on the cloud, you guys have migrated to the cloud. Could you give me an example of what would you find extremely difficult to do if you folks were still on an on-prem system?
Well, it's few things when we compare any solution deployment on-prem and on cloud. So first thing with on-prem is scalability. And I think here everyone knows, especially when we talk about high peak events, doesn't matter is it sport or any other event. If you are on-prem, either you have to plan super well and really very much in advance and anticipate what will be the volume. Sometimes it requires over investments. And when you are on cloud, so first thing, you have the scalability, which in streaming business, you have to have. It's for sure. The second thing is flexibility. On-prem, sometimes you really face various limitations. And when you are on cloud, you just quickly deploy some new component, new feature, new element you need to enhance your solution, it's there. And then the third thing, and I think that is very important and very much correlates with what I was talking previously about being fast in business. It allows you really to implement and launch different things much faster. And if in this case we are talking very simple use cases, product offering, new price change, new bundle, previously and it's our experience, it took much more longer to implement even a new product offer. So you had really to go through much longer implementation process. Now when we have this part on cloud, it's configuration. And this is usually what you are willing to have. Like with configuration, you can do much more things faster. You need quickly to change something, you do it in a day or two. That's it. You don't need to go through the whole development, deployment, testing cycle. So very, very simple and pragmatical example.
Nice. No, I think that is very spot on. You're essentially going from like weeks or months long development cycles to just a matter of a couple of days. So let's talk a little bit more about user management and billing and monetization. Of course, you chose Evergent as your partner for that capability. So tell us a little bit about what considerations you had in mind when you were looking for a monetization and billing partner, and why you chose Evergent.
Yeah, so as I already mentioned, those things being fast, speed, to have possibility to scale and to be able to do changes on the go, on the fly, quickly. But we also had the third element, which was also very important when we decided to migrate our billing solution. Actually, we migrated from 2 different legacy billing solutions to one. And when we were making a decision, we definitely wanted to have a partner, the system provider, who meets all our business needs and that we can cover most of the use cases what currently we have now and what we might come up in the future, so that when new crazy idea is coming from the product team, that we wouldn't need to go and go through all this long development cycle to address one or another use case. So in this case, speed, scalability, and also richness of the business use case, what your partner provider can support you with is very important.
Got it. No, we're really pleased to hear all of that. Thank you, Ausra. Anshul, coming back to you. So Google Cloud and Evergent, we both work together with another regional player, Telecom Malaysia, and they're doing some very exciting stuff as a super aggregator with Unify TV. We'd like to talk a little bit about the role that Google Cloud plays there.
Yeah, I think the role of Google Cloud is that as an infrastructure provider, but I think the partnership with Evergent, I think that actually is something in some ways of expansion, because Evergent is kind of like the backbone of that. So it started off with just doing migrating and using the billing solutions. But once you realize if you build on top of a strong foundation of infrastructure and the data, then you can do a lot more adaptations. So the speed that you roll out new products, the speed that why does the user need, all the users need to see the same 10 promotions out in the market? That should be made easier. Being, especially the role as a super aggregator, right? Which services do you partner with? How do you partner with them? I think that is a strong foundation that's just beyond offering cloud services and from your side, the billing and subscription management. When you put both of these two things together, I think there's a lot of magic that was created.
Right. And no panel will be complete if we do not spend at least 5 minutes talking about AI. And since you're the guy from Google, we have. Tell me a little bit about AI use cases. What trends are you seeing, and where are you seeing the most amount of adoption in the space?
It's you just gave me 5 minutes, but we can talk for length. But I think AI, we all are living through a unique moment in history, right? So it's we believe, especially on this audience and in the case, we do believe it's, as we see so many different experiments happening across, it's getting more easier to create new content, and a lot more services, a lot more content is being created. That also means the role of an aggregator becomes extremely important, right? If we as users, we have a lot more videos to watch. We want somebody to curate that video to us. And that's where I think the role of the super aggregators is becoming more and more unique in certain cases, being able to understand the user and the services they might get their content from. That actually is crucial. And then beyond that, if you build on top of a strong foundation of data and content, we see so much of innovation happening on just taking the same piece of content, adapting it to the user taste. So like the examples I was giving was whatever foreign language content, being able to adapt it to your audience, being able to surface the old content that you may have in your archive, to be able to do that. Churn management, obviously everyone talks a lot about it. And I think with AI, it's a little bit moving from looking at hindsight to foresight in some ways, right? Not just looking at what happened and trying to explain that, but trying to predict what will happen. That actually is becoming a lot more useful case. So I think there's a lot of innovation happening, but I think the role of super aggregator will become more critical in my view going forward.
Right. And talking about predictions, how many years do you think before the number of AI agents will replace the number of humans at a show like IBC?
I don't know. That I don't know.
Okay. All right. Now, we'd still love to have people in here. Otherwise, the panel discussion would be very boring and I'd have to keep refining the prompt again and again. Vijay, back to you. I know you spoke a little bit about how Evergent kind of helps clients really iterate faster. Would you mind elaborating on that a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's really, I know we talked a bit about the super aggregator, previously, right? So it's all about value you are creating to the consumer. Over time, how do you expand that value to the consumer, right? So, let's say, assume that the local service provider, Go3 or companies like Go3, they know their consumer, and now what more can you provide to the consumer based on what you know about the consumer, right? So that's so once you have to line up partnerships, right? Partnerships of various kinds that would add value to the consumer. Now permutations and combinations of what you provide to the consumer increases as you have more partnerships, more offers to the end consumer, right? So now the knowing the consumer is going to be more important. What their preferences are going to be more important. Now, how do you bundle is going to be more important. What promotions? Or are you going to even give a bit of a price break, right? So they can all go buy these individually. Then they have to manage all these services in subscriptions individually. Then aggregating them, can you give them a price break? There's some are doing it actually, right? So, and then then you have to deal with the complexity of managing all the partnerships. But really, that the speed and innovation and knowing the consumer, all of that becomes more and more critical. Experimentation becomes critical, and it's not always about maximizing how much money you are getting from the consumer also, right? What I mean by that is that sometimes, let's say that he's a sports fan, okay, and then it's off season, he's not likely to consume more, right? Maybe you downgrade his package, give him something that's, then you keep him as a consumer. If you lose him and getting him back, you have to incur customer acquisition costs, etc., right? So it's all about how do you keep them in your ecosystem. That's going to be more critical to do all that, the innovation, the speed at which you really, I call it roll with the punches, roll with the consumer, right? So the idea is to provide them what they want, when they want it, at the price they want it, and at the same time run a profitable business.
Right.
It's a tall undertaking, right? So you need the right partnerships, the right technology partners to really work through that and do that. It's kind of an exciting time, actually, right?
Right.
It's this kind of opportunity didn't exist 10 years ago. Like all these different, globally, so many services being available, and then, I think so. Yeah.
No, great points. I think you're essentially saying that you're helping clients
Yeah.
compete
Yeah.
because everyone needs that fighting chance and provide
Yeah,
the tools.
absolutely. Our goal and mission, when we discuss internally, our aim is to help our customers win at their game. That's our goal, right? Because they are competing for the users, competing for that user's wallet with other players also, right? But how do we help our customers win with all the latest tools and innovation? That's top of our mind. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Ausra, coming back to you, let's talk a little bit about your super aggregator model and the path that you're heading down. Of course, you have the partnership with HBO or Max or HBO Max or
HBO
whatever
Max
it is
now.
called right now. But tell us a little bit more about what type of complexities do you face? Of course, there's stuff on the commercial side, but from a technical standpoint, what complexities do you face in managing a multi-partner ecosystem?
Well, overall, the bigger you grow, the more partners you have on content side, the more partners you have on vendor side, the more different features you want to offer to your customers, recommendations, maybe some fancy highlights. All of that grows your ecosystem, and with every day, it's a really a task to manage all of that smoothly, that all works as a Swiss watch. Offering is one of the parts as well. When you add much more things, you create more value, then you want as well to monetize on that value. So the way you build your offer, the way you package the content is another layer of all the complexity you need to manage, and what Vijay was explaining right now, that really you are helping your customers to stay in the market and really to offer that exact product what customer needs, because in the end, if it's too much of the selection, user is lost. And we also see from our experience, because we constantly experiment, so what we should offer as the main product to the customer. Is it something with sport? Is it something with new content we have acquired? Is it Formula One or something else? But really to be able to exactly meet the customer need simplifies the life. And next to it also simplifies your life if you partner with the right vendors. And I would say I don't want to call vendor, it's actually when you select the right partner, which supports your business, which supports your growth, which helps you to find solutions for your new business needs, and having the right set of different partners, like really decreases a bit the complexity and all the complexity managing the multi-vendor, multi-partner, complex streaming ecosystem.
All right. No, thank you for walking us through that. Vijay, would you like to share a few examples of a solution like Evergent? What role does it play in orchestrating this kind of a multi-partner super aggregator landscape?
Yeah, I think one example that comes to my mind is we work with a similar provider, Shahid in the Middle East. So they actually launched the product 33 different countries. They're like the Netflix of the Middle East, right? So, and they grew it to about 1.5 million subscribers, and but they wanted to do better, right? So they wanted to cater to each market strategically, right? Something that would work in Dubai may not work in Jordan, for example, right? So, and they went and looked for a partner to help them in that area, and we might help them migrate off of their current platform to ours, and about 120 days, and cloud actually helped make that a little faster, right? So there are lots of different ways cloud is helping do these transformations and mitigate risks, right? So once we migrated them off of that, and so they really brought in different packages, products, promotions, different bundles, and essentially over a period of 2-3 years, they tripled their business. They're over 5 million subscribers. Recently, surpassed Netflix in terms of paying subscribers in the Middle East. Similar to what Go3 is doing in her country, right? Actually, in the region, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think it's really the innovate in helping our customers innovate, experiment. We use an analogy. Fire a bullet first. When it hits the mark, launch a cannonball. Right? It's don't launch cannonballs left and right. You first need to understand, make experiments and see what works. Like fire bullets and then launch. Once it hits the mark, launch a cannonball. This is where the data analytics and all of that comes in. Real time data, right? So in real time, can you figure out the strategy, this promotion, did it work or not? Okay, it worked. Okay, then you launch a cannonball. So put more investment in marketing, etc. Right? So many companies we see wasting resources with just launching cannonballs left and right. So that's what we helped in that case, and we strive to help our customers and constant, and then
Nice.
Work with partners like Google Cloud to bring in the latest tools. Yeah.
Lovely analogy.
Right.
Fire bullets before you launch the cannonball.
Right.
Anshul, coming back to you, I'm gonna put you in a bit of a tight spot. There was a statistic recently that said somewhere around 80% of the generative AI POCs are not really going anywhere and not kind of delivering on the results. And there's service providers of all sizes that are doing this. The large folks are trying out, the smaller folks are trying out. So you're close to this. What do you think people are getting wrong? Because the technology certainly can do amazing things. So what's your advice to the technology users and the decision makers on how they should be thinking about picking the right projects?
Yeah, I think, look, when any new technology, or especially foundational technology as AI is being utilized, there is a lot of experimentation. But also we actually released it only today, the ROI of AI. Have a look at that report. I think it talks about the tangible business outcomes that most media companies are getting out. So there's definitely innovation that we are seeing across the board. I think like I mentioned, across in media, especially the 3 or 4 areas that we are seeing a lot of innovation, obviously on how you can simplify the whole creation of content. That is one big area that is being on focus. Adaptation of content to the audiences, that is a whole new area with dubbing, subtitling, and coming up with new models.
Right.
And then, of course, finding new ways to attract the user, understand the user, target what the users want with the right pieces of content. So that's happening. I think from a learning point of view, at least, and I've been involved in a lot of these use cases and some of the production deployment for customers. One difference I see is that the customers sometimes with any new technology, right? It's the same thing we had with cloud, moving to cloud. if you try to do the same thing and do it instead of doing it on-prem on cloud, it's not really going to give you that benefits. And the similar challenge we see with AI, if you're trying to follow the same process and just insert AI into it, that's maybe is not going to give you that level of benefit. But if you completely rethink the way and take that opportunity to rethink how you actually need to attract the market, that actually is a big change. And I think a little bit earlier on what we were talking about, Ausra, you were mentioning the way as a super aggregator also you need to rethink, right? Are you just happy collecting once a month a bill from a customer, or you need to manage it more like a Netflix or a YouTube kind of service, looking at different kind of metrics? What is the monthly active users, daily active users? What is the diversity of content people are looking at? Because those things will make a bigger difference in your service and reduce churn than just adding more and more content onto a service.
Got it. No, thanks a lot for that. Vijay, I know Evergent is doing a lot of work with customers on AI. Tell us about what you all are working on, what type of results you're looking at.
Yeah. So for AI is going to fundamentally change many industries. I think it's been around since I was in my master's. Okay, AI has been around for a long time, but I feel this time it's different, right? We always talked about it, and it's Evergent is uniquely positioned to help our customers because over the years, we onboarded over 960 million users onto our platform, right? So for AI to work well, you need data, right? And we have a lot of data, and then data is needed for prediction. It's everybody's saying data is the new oil or the new gold, right? We're uniquely positioned. So the way we are taking the approach of very practical, methodical approach of creating business value. We track about 60 different events in the consumer life cycle, right? So, in theory, at each of those events, we can create business value using AI and the data we have, right? So right now we are focused on two different areas. So one is most of our customers, they want to onboard as many users as possible. And that onboarding, they want to eliminate friction for onboarding a lot of users, right? And then once they're onboarded, keep them, right? And then, keep them. And it's really lifetime value of the user, right? We're also finding that it's not always about you want to make more money or, more as time goes on, more money from the end user. Sometimes you may have to dip, right? But the whole idea is you want to keep them in your ecosystem, right? So AI is going to play a big role in this whole area. And we have the data and we are constantly innovating. Our team is constantly innovating and it's an exciting time. And again, I go back to what I said earlier. So really, we want to help our customers win at their game, right? To win at their game now, it's about, how you build an ecosystem of partners, how you think of even the customers as building an ecosystem, right? How you, have systems in place to personalize the offers, promotions, and the products, and evolve over time, and I said it's kind of rolling with the punches, but it's really dancing with the consumer. And I want to rephrase it. I just made that up. So really, how do you dance with the consumer? Make sure the moves are not jerky, right? It's a relationship you're maintaining over time, right? So.
All right. Thank you for that, Vijay. Ausra, now we'll switch from AI and come back to ground reality. As a technologist, next 12 months, 24 months, what are the biggest technological challenges on your roadmap?
Every day is a challenge managing the ecosystem. But the jokes aside, well, I wouldn't name one big thing which is now against us and we are working on it, and when we're gonna implement it, suddenly it's a revolution. The approach what we have, and I think most of the businesses has, that it's a gradual evolution, how you work with your customers. And what Vijay mentioned, with this very nice expression, dancing with the customer, very right said. Like you have to still, like, why are you doing all of it?
Right.
It's because of your customer.
Yeah.
So don't lose the customer. Doesn't matter, are you talking about AI application? So why do you need AI application? In the end, it should address some customer need. Either he needs more fancy highlights of the sports, or he needs more languages next to his content, or he needs something else. So maybe your navigation is outdated. We are not talking about user experience and UI at all, but actually this is the main interface and the main communication window with your customer. So this is as well something what you have all the time to have in your roadmap pipeline, not losing it. Because if you did some sort of UI upgrade 5 years ago, today you are a dinosaur. you need to reinvent your interface. So there are many different things what we have in front of us, but everything is really driven by what your customer needs and how we want to interact with our customer and how we want to make our customer feel happy using our service.
Right. All right. Thank you. Okay. Last question. Vijay, help us close this out. So we spoke about technology, spoken about how to view competition, how to compete. Tell me how you're thinking about Evergent, the solutions that Evergent has, and kind of how they help service providers really focus on the customer.
Right. And I think, we are hyper focused on our customers, right? I mean, it's really, what their needs are. We are, constantly thinking about even, bringing other partners into our ecosystem, right? So, of course, apart from the AI innovations I mentioned, right, really using the data, creating value for our customers, we are also, bringing other products into the mix, right? So the payments is one. We are a lot of our customers. At the end of the day, they need a very innovative payment system underneath, and so we are actually released a payment product this year. And also in the omni-channel support, bringing AI, chatbot, and so kind of really innovating around the CRM area that, when somebody pulls up a customer, it really shows the churn propensity and, what the consumer is like, even color grade it for the end user, all of those innovations we're doing. And it really boils down to, speed, right? Can we help on agility? Can we provide that agility to our consumer? The second thing, we are hyper focused on is success proofing your business. Meaning often we have seen examples that, if you're widely successful, do you have systems in place to really support your success, right? And we have seen so many instances, and, I give you one example. We'll do this one last. Is really, we have this Asia Cricket Cup going on right now, right? And our team had to innovate to support 30 million concurrent users, right? So we really had to come up with new ways of, handling transactions. And there's one planet scale platform in India called UPI. They handle about 5,000 a second in terms of, the payment. You can buy something on the side of the road and pay for it, right? So, and again, our team has proved 5 times the scale in terms of being able to support the live events of, when India, Pakistan that's going to play in Sunday, about 30 million people are going to show up in 5 minutes to watch the game, right? So really the speed, scale, the flexibility, bringing AI, and, really focusing on the customer, so what are their needs, and we're always staying ahead, 18 months ahead, right? So our BHAG is we want to impact half the planet in the 10-year BHAG. We're about 20% of our way there. So we can only get there by helping customers, right? So.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. That was our panel discussion. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. The panel is available here if you have any questions. Thank you so much, Anshul, Ausra, and Vijay. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for talking about how the streaming wars are definitely not over yet, how the playbook is entirely changing, the role of AI, the role of really listening to the customer, and the role of having that agility and speed to fire bullets before you launch cannonballs into the market and really serve what your customer is looking for. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and we hope you have a great rest of the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.